So what is he saying over here in this particular shloka? He's saying that, so this whole shloka, this whole text is speaking about quota. And when we saw in mantra 1, it speaks about, isavasyam. Isavasyam means that everything is the, proprietary, the Lord is the proprietor of everything that exists in this material world. So many times when we see, if you see in this para purport, the para word also over here, says that many times we do not endeavor with our, with our own endeavor, we go back home, back to Godhead. But it's only by the mercy of Guru Vaishnavas we get the mercy, and by that we go back home, back to Godhead. And when we are doing bhakti in the midst of the devotees, then slowly we rise above the fear of death. And how much ever we associate with the materialist people, our fear keeps on increasing for death and the consequences of death. But nobody wants to actually die till the time you can live. He wants to live an life full of eternity. But this mentality is not on only one personal level, but you see in the masses of others also. People like, somebody is like a patriot, or somebody like a capitalist or a communist or a philanthropist. You see people want to live a long life. And how much you were to stretch to live a long life. So now this first paragraph will actually speak about karma, karma bandhana. And if you see, just let me share my screen with you all. Can somebody read this first paragraph?
No one wants to die. Everyone wants to live as long as he can drag on. This tendency is visible not only individually but also collectively in the community, society, and nation. There is a hard struggle for life by all kinds of living entities, and the Vedas says that this is quite natural. The living being is eternal by nature, but due to his bondage in material existence, he has to change his body over and over. This process is called transmigration of the soul or karma bandhana, bondage by one's love. One entity has to work for his livelihood because this is the law of material nature. And if he does not act according to his prescribed duties, he transgresses the law of nature and binds himself more and more to the cycle of birth and death in the many species of life.
Yeah, thank you
Hare
so
Krishna.
much. Yeah, thank you so much. So there is actually struggle for existence over here, okay? And if you see give me 1 minute, okay? So there is a lot of struggle for existence. And but due to the bondage that he is having in this particular material world, it is asking him to change his body again and again. So when I say transmigration of the soul, transmigration of the soul means only actually karma bandhana. And if we want to stop this transmigration, then Prabhupada is giving the consequent solutions to this particular karma bandhana. So we are over here for a very hard struggle. We are over here for something like a, a lot of struggle where we are doing many times. We are struggling, but we're not able to come out of that particular struggle. So, even when you see one man's food is another man's existence. For, bigger animals are eating the smaller animals, and the smaller animals are eating more small animals. But in the spiritual world, this is not the case. In the spiritual world, what is happening is that there is all the animals, of this, whatever are there in the spiritual world, what are they doing is they are actually living very peacefully over there, and they do not have that exploitative mentality of killing each other and eating it up, or there is nothing, as you know, food for one animal is another food for another animal. So that's more on a very more on a very peaceful platform everybody is living. Okay, so give me 1 minute. I think there is some problem with mine. I'm not able to check it out.
Mataji, I think your voice is audible to me. It's perfectly fine.
Okay, but everybody is not able to see the screen, right?
Yeah, screen is.
Something stuck up with the screen because I have another thing logged in. Give me 1 minute more.
Mataji, will log off and log in again can help this?
Maybe we'll just log off and log in again.
Okay, Mataji.
काय गं, काय चाललंय?
Now it's clearly visible.
Everybody is able to see my screen now?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you so much. So now actually if we see over here that in this particular purport, that what we are trying to see over here is that I was over there that were smaller animals, but in the spiritual world, the case is not like that. In the spiritual world, it's not like that, that one man's food is, another man's existence or something like that. Everybody is living very peacefully. There is no exploitative mentality over there of killing each other and eating it up. Or there is nothing, as you know, that food for one animal is a food for another animal. So that's not over there. Over there, nobody feels hungry, basically. And that's why they live eternally over there. Everybody lives peacefully. Why? Because over there, everybody is happy and there is no struggle for existence. So it is the nature of the material world that while you're doing work for your own existence or material existence, then you have to work. And if you do not work, then you're breaking the laws of nature. And as soon as you break the laws of nature, then there is a repeated cycle of birth and death. So this, was karma bandhana, and how to get out of the cycle of birth and death. How long will we live, such lives again and again, go to school, go to office, and doing jobs, running in the business. Somebody might ask, like, what is the problem, in this? But I don't see a problem. But don't, like, we must have that. Don't we see a problem in living? This is such an unnatural life that I'm living. That this particular life which I'm living is such an unnatural life. So nobody wants to work. Everybody wants to play. And if somebody tells that I am so, I'm attached to my work and I love my work so much that it is my life and soul. Whatever work I'm doing, job I'm doing is, it is very, very, priya to me. So I'm just doing because I love my work. So we just should give a very simple challenge to such a person that, okay, you work, but you will not get a paycheck for whatever you are doing, right? You will not get, whatever work you're doing, whether you're a software engineer or whether you're an accountant or anything as such, you're not going to get a paycheck. So whatever work you're doing. So then you should see whether he'll be able to work or not. And now, if the company does not give you salary or something, now work and show. And how many of us would like to work in such a company where, you don't get a paycheck and you don't get the remuneration for whatever you're working. So now that is there, that, I want to do karma, and, it is free, but when I'm doing particular karma, it is my original constitutional position is that I want to be engaged in the pastimes of the Lord, in the Leela of the Lord. So this is particular work which cannot bind us in this material nature. The laws, karmas are not applicable, to it. And it is an exhibition of what we are doing. We have a spiritual strength. We actually exhibit it. And it is only for, experiencing whatever we are doing in this, material world. So in the spiritual world, we see that Krishna does not have to do any work. Cowherd boys are just playing. They're just doing their pastimes. So karma that we are seeing over here is we are doing Vishay karma. Vishay karma means what? A particular Brahmana, he's doing, karma. That is his main business. So a Brahmana is working for, his own this, or Vaishya or Kshatriya or a Shudra. So the Brahmana karma, or this is not our main business. Our main business is to just play in the pastimes of the Lord, work for please him, or please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So our inherent nature or the Swabhava is that we are meant to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But because we have come over here in this material world where work has been enforced upon us, like, just like a criminal, he comes into this particular jail, he's given a special dress with, stripes, then he's given a hammer to break stones. Similarly, when this jiva, he comes into this material world, he's been given this material body. And what is this material body? This material body is a dress of a prison. And we should not feel, proud seeing this dress of this body. Oh, my body is, greater than yours. My hair is more beautiful than yours. Or whenever we are combing our hair and we see ourselves in the mirror, we should not feel that, oh, my face is so beautiful. But this dress, the body is the dress of a prison. You cannot feel proud in a prisoner's dress. So till the time we are seeing this material body, which means that we have envied Krishna and we are envying Krishna, and that is why we have got this material body. So once we come out of this and we try to see, when we're chanting, we're trying to see that, okay, I'm a spirit soul, I am actually meant to serve the Lord. So, once one of our, devotees, he was there and he came up to, this one of the other Prabhujis and saying, oh, Prabhuji, happy birthday to you. And, may you live long and, have a Krishna conscious this. So then he was saying, yes, this was the day when I was born in this world. And that is the indication that I still have envy for Krishna, and that is why I'm still existing. So, one of the other devotees, he came up to another devotee and said that, oh, so you're very renounced and, you're a very pure devotee. So other devotee says that, yes, I am so renounced that I left Krishna only in the spiritual world and I came over here. I renounced Krishna. So the object of love, I have renounced. That object of love, I have so much of renunciation. So till the time you do not have this humility that I was in a very beautiful situation. I was actually assisting the pastimes of the Lord. Leaving that, I came to this material world to break stones in this, jail of hard work where I'm doing. So still, uh, so till the time you feel proud about your work, we have no hopes. And this does not mean that actually we should not do our prescribed duties. Of course, we should do our prescribed duties, and we are, we should not do it with even a hateful attitude, because sometimes people think that, no, this work is too much. But we should be detached from that particular work. So if somebody is, a housewife, or somebody is a mother, somebody is a father, somebody is into a managerial position, he has a subordinates as such, he should not hate, but we should become enough detached. And how much is required for this work to attach it to our spiritual work, that much is only necessary. Else you remain always detached, and you should not hate that particular work. So we should not think that, oh, I've got this, software engineering job, or I've got this accounting job and I have to do this teaching job. No, we should not have a hatred attitude or a hateful attitude towards the job. Why? Because this is a tool by which I can offer my services to the Supreme Lord. And at the same time, we know that I don't have to permanently do this particular job, that currently that whatever I'm doing. And doesn't matter, even if there is some, there are some ailments, there are some difficulties, but I'll still do it with a very, loving attitude. So if, this particular work, if it is in alignment with my varna ashram dharma, and still if I'm doing it, there's no harm. But this is not our eternal work or karma. We have to endeavor to aspire for the original constitutional position of being the servant of the Lord in the spiritual world. And we should not forget about this. So, if you see this first paragraph, it speaks about karma. Karma means that work which is binding me in this material world. Now, if you see, give me 1 minute, I'll just share something with you all. Where have I kept that? Downloads. Yeah. Everybody is able to see my screen? So the whole mantra 2 speaks about actually quota. And if you see the connection between the second and this, that, if I'm not acting in Isavasya, then what will happen? I will be binded in the karmas. Karma means that which binds us. Now, in this whole particular, text, we have karma, vikarma, and akarma. So karma is that which work which binds us. And I'll be explaining more about karma, but let's see about, what is akarma in the second paragraph. So can somebody read the second paragraph? Other life forms.
Other life forms are also subject to the cycle of birth and death, but when the living entity attains a human life, he gets a chance to get free from the chain of karma. Karma, akarma, and vikarma are very clearly described in the Bhagavad Gita. Actions that are performed in terms of one's prescribed duties, as mentioned in the revealed scriptures, are called karma. Actions that free one from the cycle of birth and death are called akarma. And actions that are performed through the misuse of one's freedom and that direct one to the lower life forms are called vikarma. Of these three types of actions, that which frees one from the bondage to karma is preferred by intelligent men. Ordinary men wish to perform good work in order to be recognized and achieve some higher status of life in this world or in heaven. But more advanced men want to be free altogether from the actions and reactions of work. Intelligent men well know that both good and bad work equally bind one to the material miseries. Consequently, they seek that work which will free them from the reactions of both good and bad work. Such liberating work is described here in the pages of Sri ISHOPANISHAD.
Yeah, thank you so much. So actually, when Prabhupada is saying about, work that is binding, and he says in the Bhagavad Gita, the work that is binding, so he's actually speaking about the 4.16 shloka, which says that Kim karma kim akarmeti kavyopi atra mohita tatte karma paravikshami jad gyatva moksha shubhatah. So he says that even intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. And Krishna says that now he will be explaining what is, what is action. So, we'll give two extreme examples, okay, of this. So, for example, finance management. Finance management, what Yudhishthir also, wanted to rule the world, and, Kolavecha Sridhar. So he wanted to rule India, and for that he had to, get so much wealth. And that is why, Yudhishthir Maharaj did a lot of Rajasuya Yagyas. Why? Because he wanted that wealth for the service of Krishna. And the second example is the example of Sridhar Kolavecha. Now, Sridhar Kolavecha is actually beyond my imagination. He used to sell banana products, like leaves of the banana bark or the fruit of banana. And he used to think that the profit that I'm taking from this sale should not cause violence to the other people. So I will take the least amount of profit from the others. So already, his profit was very less. And out of that also, only 50% of the profit he used to, take. And he used to go and offer it to Mother Ganga. Because Mother Ganga, she emanates from the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. So 50% of the donation to Mother Ganga. And with such a person, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to go and, bargain with him. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to say that, you're selling at a very expensive price, and, by this, this Srila Kolavecha Sridhar, you have accumulated so much. But actually, Sridhar Kolavecha had accumulated a lot of spiritual wealth. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to tell him that, you're a very rich man, but you're hiding it from the world. And one day I will, expose you in front of everyone. So firstly, we know that Srila Kolavecha Sridhar is staying in a thatched roof hut with so many holes in it. And there are so many holes in that hut that whether he is staying inside the hut or whether he is staying outside the hut, nobody could recognize this. And his clothes were also having so many holes and so much of torn and tattered clothes he used to wear and so many knots in his clothes. Now, these two examples are very extreme examples of finance management. So now when I say, now why both? Because both are living according to the Isavasya principle. Whether Yudhishthir Maharaj, it was, that make me a king of the whole world and get everybody connected to Krishna, the Supreme Lord. And Sridhar Kolavecha was thinking that whether it is a king or, any big man or a sparrow, I do not see any difference in them at all. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to tell Sridhar Kolavecha that why are you doing, bhakti, go and do, Durga Puja and all, you'll get a lot of material wealth and you'll be very happy. So Kolavecha Sridhar told that I do not require any of these things. I do not see any difference between a king and a sparrow. And the king is sitting in a very big palace. And the sparrow is also sitting, in a very small nest. And that is only the difference between two. So how much of spiritual strength we can pick up, it depends on us. And we should not go outside of the arena of our spiritual strength because it can cause accidents. We should not do a particular seva which is less than our capacity. Then, there will be no muscle building. Like, means what? That when you go in a gym, right? If somebody tells you that, okay, you just pick up this 1 kilo, so you'll say, oh, 1 kilo, mein what will happen? But if something is 5 kilos is given, then it gives you a muscle building. So if according to your capacity, you pick up less weight, we will not have spiritual strength and we will not grow also. And if you pick up a weight which is beyond your capacity, then we will meet with an accident and it becomes a burden. So we don't want to do both these. So, we need to understand these three things. What is vikarma, what is karma, and why are these very important? And at least we should not do vikarma. Vikarma means breaking the four regulative principles. So now if I say that what is karma? Karma means pious activities, material good done by following the Vedic injunctions. Like, for example, if somebody wants to do parenting, etc., taking care of children, if he's working to make a nice altar in his home to preach so that, he can bring some luxuries and, that is prescribed duty also, we can say. And then that karma, convert it into a karma by applying the Isavasya principle. And then automatically, we will be saved from vikarma the moment we know that it is against the Isavasya principle and we will not do vikarma. So, in 2.49 shloka, he says that Durena hi avaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddhau sharanam avichha karpana phala hetava. He says that Krishna is actually saying that through buddhi yoga, keep the vikarma away from you. Do not go near it. And so because of when you're doing buddhi yoga, then you know what is right, what is wrong, and then you will not go near vikarma. So there are many instances in our movement where people travel or people go in certain place and all, and they actually they do not touch those particular parts where they are not really required. So they keep it away. Away means what? Durena hi avaram karma. The moment the vikarma comes near the devotee, he cannot tolerate it at all. So we don't go near that vikarma. As soon as something like this, comes, we run away from that. Just like, this prostitute, she came to Srila Haridas Thakur, and Haridas Thakur, transformed her heart into a devotee. So what did Haridas Thakur do? Dure nahi. He kept her away from that particular thing. So, this is this is doing actually karma. You when you're doing a karma, then you put it little away also. Then somebody might ask that what is vikarma? Vikarma is material good done by not following the Vedic injunctions. And we are misusing the freedom, or by doing sinful activities, breaking the four regulative principles. This is actually a straight cut vikarma, when you're not following the four regulative principles, and this is completely detrimental to our spiritual life. Then what is akarma? Akarma is like, bhakti karma. Bhakti karma means what? Bhakti karma means which liberates us from akarma and also vikarma, right? Okay. From complete, karma bandhan, that is called bhakti karma. So now if we see, bhakti karma means what? That I am doing book distribution, or doing Shravan Kirtan, or I'm, following the 9 processes of devotional service. Like, so somebody might ask that, do we get punya? No, we do not. We neither get punya, we neither get papa karma. So we do not even incur any sin, we just advance in spiritual life. So these activities which help us advance in our spiritual life are called akarma. So if I say that anything which does not bind us either into a pap or punya is actually akarma. So let's see with these 3 things. So if I say that, you can unmute yourselves. If I say that if I'm only doing food distribution to orphanage, what is that? It is karma, akarma, or vikarma?
Karma.
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 Right. Okay. So, if I'm doing prasad distribution, is it karma, akarma, vikarma?
Akarma.
Akarma.
Akarma. Okay. If I'm giving charity in the service of the Lord,
Akarma.
Karma.
akarma.
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 So if I want money to build temple, but want to have my own name and fame in that,
Karma.
karma. Okay, if I want money to build temple to propagate the Lord's glories,
Akarma.
Akarma.
akarma. But if I want money to build temple to do all nonsensical activities in that temple,
Vikarma.
Vikarma.
karma. Yes. So, somebody says that, let's do one more thing, that somebody says that I want to become the Prime Minister of India, and I will just see the economic development of, not see the economic development of country, but I will do good to people, of my own family. I will do people of my own, race, or of my own, state. Then what is that?
Vikarma.
Vikarma.
Yes. So if somebody says that I'll become the Prime Minister of India and I will just see the economic development of the country and do good to the people, not in a Krishna conscious way, but only economically.
Karma.
Karma.
Okay. And if somebody says that I will become the Prime Minister of India and through that I will propagate the teachings of Lord Krishna, then
Akarma.
karma. Okay. So now this actually paragraph is actually teaching all this. So this little small exercise, we had also done in our own Bhakti Shastri, and I just did a copy paste of it actually. So this is what I had learned at that. So this became very clear with us that what is karma, karma and vikarma. So now can somebody read the 3rd paragraph? Is it clear to you all? The third, you all
Yes,
can
madam.
clearly see it?
Yes, Mataji. The instructions of Sri ISHOPANISHAD are more elaborately explained in Bhagavad Gita, sometimes called the Gita Upanishad, the cream of all the Upanishads. In Bhagavad Gita 3.9 to 16, the personality of Godhead says that one cannot attain the state of Naishkarmya or Akarma without executing the prescribed duties mentioned in the Vedic literature. This literature can regulate the working energy of a human being in such a way that he can gradually realize the authority of the Supreme Being. When he realizes the authority of the personality of Godhead, Vasudeva or Krishna, it is to be understood that he has attained the stage of positive knowledge. In this purified stage, the modes of nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance, cannot act, and he is able to work on the basis of Naishkarmya. Such work does not bind one to the cycle of birth and death. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So this paragraph is speaking about Naishkarmya. What is Naishkarmya? To be alert while doing karma in such a way that a particular work does not bind us. And this Naishkarmya is another name given for a karma. So the selfless attitude which we say is also actually Naishkarmya. If we do something with a very selfless attitude, that is also called Naishkarmya. So this third, in this particular paragraph, Prabhupada is saying that to be alert while doing karma in such a way that does not bind us. So what we should do is to make your sense gratificatory activities dovetailed in the service of the Lord. And then where to start this from? Then we started with the Isavasya principle. Do what you are doing right now and start gradually doing it for the Lord or for Krishna. So the last line, of the, if you see, it says that it is like Maya till the time we do not take up or we do not make it Isha centered. So our intentions or our thinking should be not narrow-minded, or our thinking should not be very, sankuchit buddhi. It should be very, broad-minded. So whatever we are doing is good, good for, as the work of bhakti that we are doing, and the others who are likely, doing anything for mankind, or something is good for the mankind, then that that those people, whoever is doing something for good for mankind, they are actually in Maya. But it is Maya till that point of time, till it does not become Isha. So okay, you do good for the people, like we are doing prasad distribution, we are doing book distribution. So if somebody normally is doing book distribution and not for the Lord, or some other books he's doing, see, we have so many bookstalls and all people are doing, but then that is actually Maya, that is not Isha centered, that is self-centered. But if I'm doing book distribution or something, then it is actually Isha centered. So Srila Prabhupada used to, endeavor a lot. He had written a lot many things, not many letters to Mahatma Gandhi, Indira Gandhi, Lal Bahadur Shastri, that, all these, Rashtravadis and all these, Manavadis, what Prabhupada wanted these people, that these people had a very special ability. And these people are very easily influenced. People are very, very easily influenced with these prominent personalities. So if this person makes his life Isha centered, all his activities, welcome, are welcomed into the arena of this Isavasya principle. And through this Isavasya principle that this person or this prominent person is following, then the others will be benefited. And the people will be dovetailed towards a God-conscious society. So we should also preach to the masses with this attitude in mind. We should not say that, oh, he's not a devotee, he's not this, but he can eventually become a devotee. So Otherwise, then our preaching is neither spiritual nor material, and it is just dangling somewhere in between. Initially, whatever work, he's doing with some good karmas, or, he's doing with some nice manobhav or something. But we can, dovetail slowly, him towards the Isavasya principle. So sometimes what we do is that when people come, they are doing some good work, but they do not know that, this has to be done with an Isavasya principle, right? But then we give him so much of dose of, preaching and all, that, oh, whatever you're doing is illusion and you are in Maya and all, and, other than Krishna Bhakti, all that, you are doing, it is all, nonsense. And you should only do chant 16 rounds and follow 4 regulative principles and get connected to the 9 limbs of bhakti with great determination. But he tries, but his original swabhava or his original nature is so strong that he's not able to do it. And there are many rich people who come, and for them, understanding this particular philosophy is, far above their level, and they are always boggled that what is this all going on. So such people, we have to give them, we have to keep them engaged, and we have to keep them engaged in our different projects like Go Seva, or Food for Life, or some other extended sevas. They can be, good well-wishers also. And slowly like this, by, becoming favorable to the ISKCON society, or by being favorable to whatever ISKCON is doing for humanity, they can be dovetailed into Krishna consciousness, like, so, but, if he's to, tell them and sit down here and sit and hear the philosophy, chant Hare Krishna, and he will say that, he will actually in fact counter question us. He will say that, आप अपने आप को क्यों इतना तपा रहे हो? Why are you heating yourself so much? So how much tapasya you are doing? How much so he's thinking that we are torturing ourselves, and he's thinking that we are torturing ourselves also, and we are torturing him also by telling him to do, chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra or something like that. So we should know that we should preach people according to their psychophysical nature, to leave them, because to leave sense gratification immediately is not so easy. Till the time you do not get a higher taste, then you do not leave the lower taste. So we must keep trying that all the sense gratificatory activities that he was doing for himself previously, you make it God-centered or dovetail towards the service of the Lord. And then in between, you can give him a little, the higher taste of Krishna consciousness. Now, somebody might ask that, why Prabhupada is saying, socialism, or, now in the next paragraph, it will come that why is he saying, socialism or this. But let's understand what Prabhupada wants to say, so read the next paragraph.
Factually, no one has to do anything more than render devotional service to the Lord. However, in the lower stages of life, one cannot immediately adopt the activities of devotional service, nor can one completely stop spiritual work. A conditioned soul is accustomed to working for sense gratification, for his own selfish interest, immediate or extended. An ordinary man works for his own sense enjoyment, and when his principle of sense enjoyment is extended to include his society, nation, or humanity in general, it assumes various attractive names such as altruism, socialism, communism, nationalism, and humanitarianism. These isms are certainly very attractive forms of karma bandhan, that is karmic bondage. But the Vedic instruction of Sri ISHOPANISHAD is that if one actually wants to live for any of the above isms, he should make them God-centered. There is no harm in becoming a family man or an altruist, a socialist, a communist, a nationalist, or a humanitarian, provided that one executes his activities in relation with Ishavasya, the God-centered conception. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah. So that's what, like somebody might think that why Prabhupada is saying all, this socialism is very selfish activity. So by seeing somebody might really think that, oh, it's such a wonderful work, socialism he's doing, and he's doing, and an ordinary person works actually for his own sense gratification. So he's in the aham mameti mode. When somebody is doing socialism, he's saying aham mameti. So he will fall into a loop of karma bandhana. Whether by seeing it, you might feel that, oh, this is such a wonderful work, but he will have to fall in the loop of karma bandhan. You might say that, oh, what a wonderful householder he was, what a wonderful husband he was, or, what a wonderful socialist he was, what a life he has lived. He sacrificed his whole life for his family, etc. But when somebody is dying, and when you say these words to him, these glorification is from an external point of view. It might seem to be very good, but if we try to see it from a Krishna conscious point of view, it has no value. When does it become valuable? When he removes himself from the center of this concentric circle, and he places it that in the center, and he places Lord Krishna in the center. So automatically then, it becomes God centered or Krishna centered. So, you'll have so many zeros, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So, but if we add 1 to that 0, then it will have value, right? So all these isms, whatever are there, they're actually 0 until and unless you do not add 1 to the, 1 to that particular 0. So then when we make, Krishna in the center of our life, then only it will have, some this. So similarly in our life also, there are so many zeros in front of those zeros. We put 1, then we are actually, living a God-centered life. Otherwise, it is actually a self-centered life. It is not living according to the Ishavasya principle. And we are just living like, uh, uh, living like a selfish person who just wants to have his own sense gratification. And then that is actually, binding us. It is binding us more and more and more into the material world. So read this 5th paragraph. In the Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Mataji. In the Bhagavad Gita 2.40, Lord Krishna states that God-centered activities are so valuable that just a few of them can save a person from the greatest danger. The greatest danger of life is the danger of gliding down again into the evolutionary cycle of birth and death among the 84 lakh species. If someone or other, a man, misses the spiritual opportunity afforded by his human form of life and falls down again into the evolutionary cycle, he must be considered most unfortunate. Due to his defective sense, a foolish man cannot see that this is happening. Consequently, Sri ISHOPANISHAD advises us to exert our energy in the spirit of Ishavasya. Being so engaged, we may wish to live for many, many years. Otherwise, a long life in itself has no value. A tree lives for hundreds and hundreds of years, but there is no point in living a long time like trees, or breathing like bellows, or begetting children like hogs and dogs, or eating. Humble, God-centered life is more valuable than a colossal hoax of life dedicated to godless altruism or socialism.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So, this fifth paragraph actually is speaking about that, we have to exert our energy in the spirit of Isavasya. So, when a person is bereft of Krishna Bhakti, he has to come out to exhibit himself in another way as, socialist or communist or an altruist or a philanthropist to show that, I'm a very good person. But Srimad Bhagavatam is condemning such people. There is no use of doing all these, isms, because the world's conditions such that, the condition of such person is that, he's just like a hog eating stool or a camel licking his own blood by eating the thorns, or the donkeys, or they like to eat a lot of they like to slog a lot, and one even the others, they are actually bereft of Krishna Bhakti. So that is why this particular paragraph says that if you do not work in such activities, then you will be put again into the lower birth, and again you'll have to keep on taking birth after birth after birth after birth and live. So even if here is saying a tree lives for hundreds and hundreds of years, but there is no point in living a long time like trees, or breathing like bellows, or begetting children like hogs and dogs. So then what is the use of such a life that I'm living, just exerting myself without any, God consciousness or Krishna consciousness. Okay. Read the sixth paragraph.
When altruistic activities are executed in the spirit of Sri ISHOPANISHAD, they become a form of Karma Yoga. Such activities are recommended in the Bhagavad Gita 18.5 to 9, for they guarantee their executed protection from the danger of sliding down into the evolutionary process of birth and death. Even though such God-centered activities may be half-finished, they are still good for the executor because they will guarantee him a human form in his next birth. In this way, one can have another chance to improve his position on the path of liberation.
Yeah. So when these altruistic activities are executed in the spirit of Sri Ishopanishad, then they become a form of, karma yoga or karma, bandhana. And because of karma bandhana, he will again glide down in the repeated cycle of birth and death. Okay. And the last paragraph says that how can one execute God-centered life? Please read this last paragraph.
How one can execute God-centered activities is elaborately explained in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Srila Rupa Goswami. We have rendered this book into English as the Nectar of Devotion. We recommend this valuable book to all who are interested in performing their activities in the spirit of Sri Ishopanishad.
So, in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, elaborately Srila Rupa Goswami has given that how to execute our life according to the God-centered activities. The 64 angas he has given, and he has given the 5 more principal angas also, living a God-centered life. That when we'll be covering the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, at that point of time, we'll be seeing that. Okay. So this mantra 2 is over here over. Anybody has any questions or queries regarding mantra 2?
Mataji, Hare Krishna, Dinapram.
Yes,
Mataji, you said that we'll be by-hearting the shlokas also, these mantras.
yeah,
as in
actually in the examination, we have only 2 shlokas. And maybe I should start from, I just forgot. Thank you for reminding me, Prabhuji. We'll start reciting it from the next class onwards. There are two shlokas. The first mantra, the first is the invocation and the mantra 1, the Isavasya one. So these will be coming for the examinations. Though all these shlokas are very important, but the examination board has just given 2 mantras for shloka test.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah. Any more questions?
Yeah, Mataji, in the 5th paragraph, can you show the
Sure.
what we have read?
Just give me 1 minute. Okay. In the Bhagavad Gita.
No, again further.
When altruistic
Yeah, when altruistic activities are executed in the spirit of Sri ISHOPANISHAD, they become a form of karma yoga. Mataji, I didn't get this point.
Yeah, so altruistic activities means what? Doing samaj seva, being a socialist, some philanthropic work, or doing, distribution of, kambal and all, this. So then they are not, they will bind actually. They will bind us into a karma yoga. But, we just saw that if I'm actually doing it for the devotees, if I'm doing it in the spirit that I don't want name, fame, I do not want, this, I'm just genuinely helping people out. I'm doing food distribution. I'm giving them prasad. See, one is what? Normal food you're giving to people. But one is what? You're giving them prasad. So that will not bind that person also and you also. Otherwise, what is happening is, you are binding yourself also and that person also who is eating sin. Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, right, that if I'm not offering food, then I'm eating sin only. So whatever work is not done according to the, spirit of Isavasya, then that work will be binding. That work will not be, in a Nishkam karma or karma. That will be into a karma yoga ladder, like, that way. Yes, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, thank you.
Yeah. Any more
Mataji?
questions, or we'll move to mantra 3?
Mataji, related to the same point, it is said that when we do this altruistic activities, we'll reach Swarglok and again we'll come back after our good activities are
Yes,
over, like
yes,
that.
yes.
Is that true, Mataji?
Yes. So for any good activity you will do, you will come back again to this earth too. Because if you see Pap and Punya now, for Pap you go down and for Punya you go to the heavenly planets. And whenever that activity or whatever that balance is over, then you again have to come down on this material, earth. You'll have to come down again on earth. Even over there in, the hellish planets also, if you're going, then, whatever your, what you say, period is over, whatever, saza you have got for that particular activity that you have done, then you come again back to this earth planet only.
Okay, Mataji, thank you.
So we'll go to the, third, because the third one is a little elaborate one. And that,
Mataji,
yes.
Mataji, just now you said that after my quota is over of the heavenly or hellish planet, again I have to come on earthly planet
Yes.
in the form of human or in
Yeah, that depends on what karmas you had done, like, So again, if it is hell, then again go into many species and then take a human form of birth. Then.
Okay, thank you, Mataji.
Asurya namate loka andhe na tamasavrita tamaste pretabhi gachanti ye ke cha atmahano jana. So he says that the killer of the soul, whoever he may be, must enter into the planets known as the worlds of the faithless, full of darkness and ignorance. Somebody read the first paragraph.
Human life is distinguished from animal life due to its heavy responsibilities. Those who are cognizant of these responsibilities and who work in that spirit are called suras, godly persons. And those who are neglectful of these responsibilities or who have no information of them are called asuras, demons. Throughout the universe, there are only these two types of human beings. In the Rig Veda, it is stated that the Suras always aim at the lotus feet of Supreme Lord Vishnu and act accordingly. Their ways are as illuminated as a path of the sun.
Yeah. So actually this whole mantra, if you see, this whole mantra is based on the theme of responsibility. Whatever responsibilities you will take, you will be, gone in that only way, or gone in what responsibility as a human life that you will be taking. So let's see what is the connection between the second and the third. This that if I'm not acting in the consciousness of Isavasya, then what are the consequences I will be facing? That is actually described in this what do you say, Batra 3, or the whole mantra is based on this responsibility, that as a human being, or if I'm in the human life, what is my responsibility? My responsibility is to gain self-realization, and that is the main aim of those who are fulfilling this responsibility. And those who are fulfilling this particular responsibility, they are called the suras. And those who are not fulfilling this responsibility of self-realization, they are called the asuras. So if you see that the first paragraph is speaking about what is the swabhava, or what is the goal of these suras. So who are actually suras? Suras is this word suras, no, has come from the word Surya. Surya means the path of the sun, or those who want to transcend up, that is upagami. So these are those people who elevate their consciousness. And asuras means, asu means body, means those who hover on the bodily platform. And those who want to enjoy well on the bodily platform, they are called asuras. So suras are upagami. So what are asuras? Then they are adogami. Adogami means that they are those people who degrade their consciousness down to the more hellish planets. So there are three types of asuras. One is agya. Agya means what? Because of ignorance, they make mistakes and they don't move towards self-realization. And most people in the Kali Yuga, if you see, you will find these type of people. Then there is the Ashraddhadhana. Ashraddhadhana are those people who do not have enough knowledge of the Vedas. They have the knowledge of the Vedas, but they do not have faith in the Vedas. And in India, again, you will find these category of people also. And the third category is the Samshayatma. Samshayatma means that they have the knowledge of the Vedas, they have faith in the Vedas, but Krishna is the Supreme Lord. That faith they do not have. And again, in India, you will find all these categories who do not believe that, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So these are the three types of asuras that are, this. And these asuras consider their bodies only as the ultimate goal of life. But if you see the suras, the suras, they consider Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu's lotus feet as the ultimate goal of life. That is actually their target. So if you see, Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita that Ajnana asradhanascha samshay atma vinashyati nayam lokosti na paro na sukham samshayatmanah. So samshayatmana, these asuras are, they always, all the time, they are doing samshayatmana. They are ajnanas, agya, because they are in ignorance. Or Shraddha-dhanasya. So they do not have, enough faith in the Vedas also. And, in the, in that particular, purport only, Prabhupada says that ignorant and these faithless person, they doubt about the Vedas and they do not attain Krishna consciousness, but they fall down more into the, lower planets, because these doubting souls will never have happiness in this world also, and in that world also. So that's what Krishna is saying in this particular shloka. And then what is their, so if I say that what is their nature and what is their, goal. So these people, Agya, knowledge of the Vedas, they do not have faith also. They do not have faith in Krishna also. Then Ashradhana, they have knowledge of the Vedas, but they do not have faith. They do not have faith in Krishna also. And these Samshayatma people, they have knowledge of the Vedas, they have faith also in the Vedas. But for Krishna as a supreme Lord, they do not have faith in this, so if you see the 16th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, we will know a lot about the nature of these suras, how the suras asuras and the suras both. So how the suras, they do not neglect self-realization and are very curious regarding, getting self-realization. They set self-realization as their first priority in life. So now if you see the second paragraph, let's come to the second paragraph. Just give me 1 minute, okay. Okay. Read the second paragraph.
Intelligent human beings must always remember that the soul obtains a human form after an evolution of many millions of years in the cycle of transmigration. The material world is sometimes compared to an ocean, and the human body is compared to a solid boat designed especially to cross this ocean. The Vedic scriptures and acharyas or saintly teachers are compared to expert boatmen, and the facilities of the human body are compared to favorable breezes that help the boat fly smoothly to its desired destination. If with all these facilities, a human being does not fully utilize his life for self-realization, he must be considered Atmaha, a killer of the soul. See, ISHOPANISHAD warns in clear terms that the killer of the soul is destined to enter into the darkest region of ignorance to suffer perpetually. Hare Krishna.
So this second paragraph that is there, This is actually if you see the title of this particular second paragraph, then it is called Atmaha, or the killer of the soul. So there is a shloka in the Bhagavatam which says that Nriha deham adyam su labham su durlabham plavam su kalpa guru karnadharam mayanu kulena nabhasva terita puman bhavabdhi na taret sa atmaha. So he says that this particular human form of body, it is like a soup lover. So if you see this over here, it is soup lover. It's like a boat. And what kind of a boat it is? It is a soup lover designed in such a way to do self-realization. And it is sudurlabha also. So, and why sudurlabha means it is very rare. And in this particular boat, Guru is Karnadhar. Karnadhar means, he's, giving us that particular facility to, he's like the, captain of the boat. So they say that the Vedas are like the favorable breezes, that is the instructions in our, and in our Chetna, the right type of inspiration keeps on coming. And why is this arrangement done? To use the human form of life very properly. And after getting all these facilities, if I do not utilize this human form of life properly, then I am a killer of my own soul. And this is what actually is compared, in this particular shloka. So this word Atmaha, or killer of his own soul, and Krishna again says also in the Bhagavad Gita that Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, I think 2nd chapter, 20th shloka, he says that like somebody might just ask that, but Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, he says that na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavitava na bhuyah ajo nitya shashvato yam purano na hanyate hanya mane sharire. So for the soul, there is no birth, no death. The soul is eternal. He is always ever existing. So in the Vedas also, such words, they keep on coming. And in the Vedas, when these words come up, like, if say Atmaha, but the body cannot be killed at all, the soul cannot be killed at all, it's ever existing. Whenever such words come in the Shastras, then they have actually 3 meanings to that. The first meaning is Shabdik, the second is Dashnik, and the third is Adhyatmik. What does Shabdik meaning mean? Somebody is not muted. Can somebody mute yourself? Who is not muted? Sudha is not muted. Okay. So, Shabdik means what? You have to take the literal meaning of those words. Like, if Srila Prabhupada says, Sarva Dharma Parityaja Mam Ekam Sharanam Raja Aham Tam Sarva Papabhyo Mokshayashyami Mahasucha. So who is Mam? Mam is actually a person. And who is that person? That person is Krishna. And if I say, I want water, or, some other person wants water. So it is not like that, some nirvishesh or nirakar or a formless person, he wants water. So similarly, Krishna is also a person, he says to surrender to him, and not like that surrender to his formless form. So this is called Shabdik, little meaning of the word. Then the Lakshanik meaning, the second meaning is either Naitik or Lakshanik. Lakshanik means when, Surpankha, she wanted, in the Ramayana, when Surpankha, when she came to Lord Ram and Lord Lakshman, how Lord Ram and Lakshman, they played, badminton with her, and they keep on going, she keeps on going back and forth because of her lusty attitude and bad desires. So she wants somebody to enjoy, either of the two, either Lord Ram or Lord Lakshman. So from that incident, we come to know that we should not be lusty person, otherwise we will lose our self-respect, or we'll lose our nose. So that is actually the lakshnik, that is the symptoms of a lusty person that we see that way. And the third meaning is the adhyatmic meaning. Adhyatmic meaning means what? A spiritual meaning means when Ravana kidnapped Sita and took her to Lanka. Now some acharyas of some sampradaya say that who is Lanka? The material world. Who is Ravana? Ravana is our mind. And who is Sita? Sita is the living entity, Jiva, who is the eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. So Ravana comes and he shows his different television shows and his different channels. And what does he do to this particular living entity? He takes that living entity to Marich, or the entertainment world that we call. So we also run behind these, television programs, and the buyer, we try to, try to settle down in this particular material world with all these allurements. So this is what, this is the spiritual meaning or adhyatmic meaning. That is the insight of these particular words. They will take us deeper into these inner meanings. And we should know the meanings of all these, so that we come to know the inner depth or the eternal pastimes of the Lord, or the inner meanings of the shloka could be rightly understood. So if we see over here, so Atmaha is a Lakshanik or a Adhyatmika meaning. Means what? It kills the propensity of serving the Supreme Lord as an eternal servant. So, the original life of the soul, or the spiritual life of the soul, it will kill that particular propensity of serving the Supreme Lord as an eternal servant. So, for example, if I have a pen, can I use it as a hammer? No. If I try to use it as a hammer, what will happen? The pen might break. So if we go against our original constitutional position or the nature, then its very existence is defeated. The soul is meant to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his senses. But if the soul does not serve the Lord and serves his own senses in the body, then the person is called the killer of his soul. Now, even in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, we say that Rishikena Rishikesha Sevaya Bhakti Ruchate. Sarva Upadi Vinurmuktam. Tat Pravalit Nirmalam. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevaya Bhakti Ruchate. So, if I'm trying to serve my senses, then I am the killer of my own soul. So, if you want to save something, then we should save our spiritual consciousness or spiritual awareness. We should trade anything to save this. So there might be circumstances that we might come across very difficult situations, difficult people where our faith will be definitely be tested and shocked. But we have to endeavor to our fullest capacity to follow all the rules and regulations, and then be saved of becoming an Atmaha. So like even in the lives of Pandavas, different warriors were coming in front and of them, and they could have asked, Krishna, what is happening? Why, all this is happening. So Yudhishthir was setting Arjuna, and he was setting, was Bhim also. And even their lives also, there were so many atrocities, so many miseries were there in their life. But because Krishna was sitting right next to them. So they were not facing all these atrocities. So the doubts also we will have, and doubts can also, increase our self-awareness. But the devotees of the Lord will not get shirked away from the endeavors that they have. They will always save themselves from becoming the killer of their own souls. And we will protect our spiritual awareness at any cost. For they say that for the sake of one family, one can let go of one member. To save a whole society, one full family can be sacrificed. To save one nation, we can let go of one full state. And to save the whole world, a nation can be sacrificed or let go. But when it comes to protecting our spiritual lives, we should save our own selves. We can renounce or we can reject the whole world. That's what actually, he tells in the ending this way. So this particular human life is meant for self realization. This is what they are telling in this for self. So the third paragraph, if we read, let's read the third paragraph. Read the third paragraph? Yeah. Read the third paragraph.
There are swine.
Yeah, read, no problem.
Can I continue?
Yeah, you can continue.
There are swine, dogs, camels, asses, etc., whose economic necessities are just as important to them as ours are to us. But the economic problems of these animals are solved only under nasty and unpleasant conditions. The human being is given all facilities for a comfortable life by the laws of nature, because the human form of life is more important and valuable than animal life. Why is man given a better life than that of the swine and other animals? Why is a highly placed government servant given better facilities than those of an ordinary clerk? The answer is that highly placed officer has to discharge duties of a higher nature. Similarly, the duties human beings have to perform are higher than those of animals who are always engaged in simply feeding their hungry stomachs. Yet the modern soul-killing civilization has only increased the problems of hungry stomach. When we approach a polished animal in the form of a modern civilized man and ask him to take interest in self-realization, he will say that he simply wants to work to satisfy his stomach and that there is no need of self-realization for a hungry man. The laws of nature are so cruel, however, that despite his denunciation of the need for self-realization and his eagerness to work hard to fill his stomach, he is always threatened by unemployment.
Yeah. So this third paragraph is saying that human life is for self-realization. So, a high court judge, does not have much work other than only, hearing the pleas of the advocate, or after hearing all the pleas of the cases, what he does is he just gives, a 5-minute verdict. And then he writes the purport to that particular case, his purport to that particular case, and he puts down, he seals that paper, gets up and he goes away. But a high court judge's salary is very high. And in the same, court, there is a peon working in the high court, and his life is very busy. He's running from here to there, like an office boy, running from one corridor to the other corridor, and, getting signatures from different officials. And whenever you see him, he's very busy. But his salary is less than the high court judge's salary. Now, somebody might say that this is completely, this is completely biased. That one who is just signing for some 5 minutes, his salary is 1 lakh per month. And the one who is, doing so much of hard work and labor work, his salary is only 7,000 per month, though he's doing so much of labor than the high court judge. But this injustice in the court. Why? But why does the judge, has a more bigger salary than the peon? Because the judge has a more bigger responsibility of giving verdicts to those cases which are not or which can be solved by any other person. And his responsibility is at a very higher level. And the verdict that he is giving is with that verdict, somebody's life, he might die, or he might live also. So in this case, the level of responsibility matters a lot. And because the level of responsibility is higher than that of the clerk, that's why more facilities are given to the High Court judge than this particular clerk. Now, why is Prabhupada giving this example in the paragraph, human life is the highest of all 84 lakhs of species in comparison to the lower species? Because within the human life, he has to fulfill the responsibility of self-realization. In the human form of life, we've been given a lot of facilities to fulfill that responsibility of self-realization. In the lower species, we do not have that responsibility. So the activities that are there in the lower species, their activities are also very lower in itself. And after getting a human form of birth, if we do not fulfill the responsibility of self-realization, then we are heavily punished. So, with Yamdutas, there are always 3 people who always come, and they, what do they take away? They take away our Man, Buddhi and Ahankar, MBA. So they catch the man's, Man, Buddhi, Ahankar, and they take the subtle body out of the gross body. So this particular jiva, who is actually the soul, nobody can catch the soul. But when the Yamdutas are carrying this Man, Buddhi and Ahankar, what is the soul doing? The soul is also running behind this Man, Buddhi and Ahankar, because he's attached to his software, that is the Man, Buddhi and Ahankar. So, in this we have the software and the hardware. So for the hardware, it is the body consisting of the 5 elements: earth, water, air, fire, ether. And this body is lying dead. And the software is taken out from the body, that is Man, Buddhi and Ahankar. And when this is taken, then the operator is thinking that, that my software, such an expensive software, somebody is just, taking it away, and the soul is actually going behind, he goes behind. So a man who's very much immersed, in seeing a television, his favorite show is going in, and all of a sudden, a thief comes in the house and he just takes away that particular television and goes away. What will he do? He will just run behind that thief to, get that particular television back from that thief. So the thief has not done anything to this man. He should be sitting quietly, over there on this sofa. But because he's attached to the television, he runs behind this particular thing. So similarly, when the Yamdutas pull out the subtle body of the jiva, that particular soul or the jiva, he's running behind the Yamdutas. The Yamdutas are not calling the soul, but he on his own is going behind the Yamdutas. So only a self-realized person who knows that I'm neither the subtle body, I'm neither the gross body, will not run behind the Yamdutas, the Preta Deha. So the user ID is with us, okay, but the admin ID is with the Supreme Lord. And who is the CCTV camera person? Chitragupta is the CCTV camera. So this is a full proof that you cannot make, these people fool. Who are running the system, they will fool you, but you cannot fool them. And this system, whoever knows this particular system, will always dovetail all his activities with this Isa Vasya mood, and will always try to have a very clean character and walk in the boundaries of of that clean character. And Prabhupada also says that Indra also got one time a hog's body, and he was also very attached to his wife, family, his small piglets. And in that also situation, he was thinking that, oh, I'm very happy, with this family. Then Krishna had to come and remind him that, oh, you are the king of the heavenly planets. Please come. So what property, is trying to say over here is that these hogs and dogs, they feel that their economic development is much better than even Indradev. And even Indradev is also thinking that his economic development is better than the heavenly planets. So we are not doing something great when we are behind economic development. See, but we are not saying that we should not do economic development, but only focusing on economic development is not right. The other aspects also have to be taken care. So, it is just like, it's like this is like, that so many aspects this particular paragraph is like a masterpiece. So many aspects are actually covered in this particular paragraph, like a polished animal in the form of a man, in the modern civilized man. So when such people are there, and we ask them, oh, please do bhakti, they will have all many excuses that, I'm having a very wonderful life, and you're telling me to come and do bhajan bhakti. He will have many excuses to give. He will simply say that, no, this work is only satisfying to me, and I'm very happy. So he simply wants to satisfy his stomach, and there is no need for him to do self-realization. So Prabhupada is trying to say that over here, we've got a human form of birth, and our responsibility as a human being is to do self-realization in this human form of birth. And if we carry out, this responsibility, if we carry out this, then we'll be actually going to our final destination, back to Godhead. And if we do not carry out, then we'll go, into the lower species of life. So if you carry on, with this responsibility of self-realization in this human form of birth, then economic development, material facilities, they all will come running behind you. Because why? The government wants you to do this work. And what are you doing? You are saying that the government does not have brains. Those who are representatives of the government, those devotees, they are foolish. I do not, I know what I have to do. I will just go and, do economic development. For that, I'm ready to do anything. So such people, they glide down into the position of that particular responsibility, and then they go into the species of animals, doing eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So what is the system thinking now? That you want to do this work, only right. So why are you doing, all this in the human form of birth? Then you are put into the lower species, or you glide to the lower species. So while living in the human form of birth, they are, they are thinking that, I don't want to do all this. I am very happy in my life, and I will just do merrymaking, and I will do all this. So even these, when there are girls who are doing this, they are doing, dating. They are doing different girls or boys are doing dating. They are also actually, following this animal system. And there are many people who fall into wrong activities. Like if a girl does not get married to a particular guy, she will commit suicide. Or if a particular boy, he does not get entrance into IIT or something, he will commit suicide. So that's why this economic social system level will deduct them to the animal level. And this person still thinks that no, self-realization I will not do. Whatever, you are preaching to me and whatever you're telling me, I will not do, self-realization. So Prabhupada is writing actually in this last line that these people are doing Atmaha. They are actually killer of their own souls. They are only there, their eagerness is only to work hard to fill, their stomachs. And that is why they are always threatened by unemployment. And this problem will go on increasing, but not decreasing, because you are leaving your original work, that is to satisfy the senses of the Supreme or to serve the Supreme, and you want to satisfy your own senses and you want to satisfy your own belly, then you will be unhappy. If you adopt anything other than satisfying the senses of the Supreme, then you'll always be unhappy. So, two questions arise. What to do? What if you don't want to become an Atmaha? Then after getting this human form of life, taking the shelter of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, studying the Shastras, we perfect this human form of life. And the second question is that why are we scaring so much with this Atmaha? We will be successful one day, we'll live a materialistic life only and we'll be successful also and will become master successful in this material world. So Prabhupada says that if you try to do it in the human form of birth, you will be beaten up or bashed up very badly. But if you wanted to do this in the animal birth, then you would have got those facilities. But after getting human form of birth, if you do such activities like, eating, sleeping, mating and defending, then you are not going to get any remuneration. You are going to only get beaten up because that is the law of nature. And the third question might just, is that if we do not give importance to self-realization, then our problems will keep on increasing. So on this earth planet, they have to go and work in such places where it is not conducive or it is not favorable for their self-realization. Like somebody is put into, Antarctica place where there is only all 12 months, there is only, ice for 12 months in a year, or they are put in Registan where it is only heat a lot of, and they are, we pity such people that, it is like, papi pet ka sawal you say. So this was, the asuras of the earthly planet where they are, have no self-realization. They are put in ghastly natures of somebody is, for he wants to work so much that he wants to slog in some area of the world where there is a lot of money. But below the earth planet, the description of the demons is there, that is called Narkaloka, where the material opulences are even more, but there is no tinge of self-realization. They are demons or asuras, but are living a material life with great pleasure. Now somebody might ask that, how come? Because the Lord is not envious of these asuras also, and we are also, children of the God. Some children want to actually do bhakti while, worshipping the Lord, and some children want to enjoy without the Supreme Lord. So for such children, Krishna is creating the facilities and sends them to go and enjoy those facilities. So there are, at the below, we know that there are 28 type of Narkalokas, or, and above the earth, there are 7 types of heavenly planets. So the lower planetary systems are called Asuri Lokas, and even Bali Maharaj also ruled the Sutala planet. Lord Hanuman, he stays in the Kim Purusha Lokas, and that is up. The serpents also have their own, lokas, and they have this Devi Shakti. They are called the material siddhis, yogic siddhis said, it is said that they will have all these yogic siddhis and they live their lives only enjoying material facilities. So there is no tinge of Bhagavad Bhakti in them. And in spite of having so much of opulences over there, a person is never happy. Why? Because he's always away from his original constitutional position. So how much ever material facilities he has, to the best of best house, the best of best technologies, the best of best laptops, the best of best iPads and Apple, computers, everything he will have. He'll have Mercedes Benz also, but he's not satisfied over here. And this is called as Bilasvarga. So in this way, he's put into a very, very poor state of living. And like when we see, a particular, dog, hog, or a cockroach, a very small insect, we feel so pity of this poor condition that he has to run from here and there. He's constantly fear that, oh, somebody will kill me now. So this paragraph is actually speaking about, the killer of the soul, the how a person is actually killing himself. And human life is meant for self-realization, and that we should take it up very seriously. So now, if a person is forced to transmigrate, then to the Asuric planets and take birth there, then he goes into a degraded species of life. That's what they're trying to say. So in the next paragraph, let's see what Prabhupada has to say. Yeah, read the next paragraph.
We are given this human form of life not to work hard like asses, swine, and dogs, but to attain the highest perfection of life. If we do not care for self-realization, the laws of nature force us to work very hard, even though we may not want to do so. Human beings in this age have been forced to work hard like the asses and bullocks that pull carts. Some of the regions where the asuras are sent to work are revealed in this verse of Sri ISHOPANISHAD. If a man fails to discharge his duties as a human being, he is forced to transmigrate to the Asuriya planets and take birth in degraded species of life to work hard in the ignorance and darkness.
Yeah, thank you so much. So in this particular fifth paragraph, Srila Prabhupada says that if somebody comes into bhakti on the path of realization, what all facilities will he get? So, you have been beaten up by not taking up to the path of self-realization. Okay. And then he says, okay, I've been beaten up. I realize that I have to accept self-realization. But what will I get when I do self-realization? So the description over here is there that if you progress on the path of self-realization in your life, whatever are the struggles for existence that are there will be reduced. And this is the first result that you will see. This actually, if you see, many the brahmacharis might really experience all this very nicely because they really don't have to actually do struggle for existence. And there is a very higher sense of responsibility also. So practically speaking here, there is no struggle for existence, but there is a serious higher responsibility. And if it is not, for anybody and everybody, even in Grihastha ashram, if you see in the life of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, how his life was, because, he was on the path of self-realization, everything was very smooth. He used to work only for 3 to 4 hours in a day, and he had everything. He had all the material facilities. So, the train used to come right on his doorstep. The government had given that facility to him. And so this is one of the examples that when you take to self-realization very seriously, then definitely all facilities will be given to you. And another example Srila Prabhupada gives is that for a particular person, if he falls down from the level of self-realization, what will happen? So if he falls down, then he will neither be here nor there. Na ghar ka, na ghat ka. He will not be not that way. It will not happen for him that he'll neither be here nor there. Prabhupada says that Suchi means a Brahmana and Shrimat means a Vaishya. So these two words he's using. The one who has taken birth, he will, if he's on the path of self-realization, if he falls down, then he will take birth in the house of a very aristocratic family. This is the second thing that happens to him. So the person who fails to achieve self-realization is given a better chance in his next life due to his, sincere efforts. If he even, if even a fallen, person is given a chance to take birth in a respectful and a noble family or an aristocratic family, one can hardly, imagine that, if a person achieves success, what will he achieve? So, they call it as a consolation prize. In, that they call it, in India, they call it as the Santwana Puraskar. So in the house of a rich person, if he gets birth and he learns to go, through all that, then he gets birth in a very, very good family, in a pious family, in a Brahmana family, in a Vaishnava family, where he does not have to again struggle for existence. So from whenever he has left, he will continue. In case he has left from 40%, he has endeavored 40% in this lifetime, then he will start from 41%. So, for example, even if Bill Gates, let's assume that he leaves his body and he takes another birth. So can he claim that, oh, I was the owner of the Microsoft company and this is my company, I had made this company, I had struggled a lot for this particular company, so please give this company back to me. Somebody say, who are you? We don't even know you. So whatever material possessions you have earned, you have to start from zero. Bill Gates again has to start from, Baba Black Sheep, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. So Prabhupada says over here now that since now we have got this Bhagavad Bhakti, but we have to be very cautious about one thing, and that is not to do any, Dharma Dvij or Atma Sambhavit. Atma Sambhavit means what? That do not fall into any wrong notions. And Dharma Dvij and Atma Sambhit will explain in more elaborate in the subsequent verses that will come. Okay. So the last paragraph, you just go to the last paragraph. The conclusion is that a human being, we are meant not simply for solving economic problems on tottering platform, but for solving all problems of life into which we have been placed by the laws of nature. So this particular paragraph is speaking about, this tottering platform. Tottering platform means, a shaky pecky platform, damadola. So if I want to catch a parrot, what will happen is that when they want to catch a parrot, what they do is like they have this particular rod, and that rod has rollers on it. And then in front of that roller, you keep a guava. So what the parrot does, the parrot flies and he comes and sits on this rod. And as soon as he goes to eat, something starts falling. And the roller, that rod starts rolling. And he wants to catch it, but, he's not able to catch it. and he keeps on rolling, rolling, rolling. So he wants to eat also. At the same time, he wants to save himself also. And in this precarious condition, he forgets that, instead of rolling and saving my life, I can actually fly also. And in the meantime, what happens? This hunter, he comes and he catches this particular parrot. So this is called actually the tottering platform. Means what? We have got this human form of life, and whatever we dream about this material world, we want to enjoy this material world. But actually over here, we are dangling in the pendulum of bhoga and tyaga. Bhoga means, to renounce, and bhoga means to enjoy, and tyaga means to renounce. So when will we become stable? The answer is never. And that is why Prabhupada is saying that you can fly from this tottering platform, and do not, and we should not be stuck in our own problem solving, because we have this capacity of flying from these problems. But we are so much engrossed in solving these problems. So what will happen is, God will save those who will save themselves. And if we are want to move away from this platform, then we have another original spiritual life where we can actually start from. So this is what Prabhupada is actually saying, this particular paragraph, that self-realization is a very important thing, that we need to go ahead and see how we can move towards our own self-realization. So that's the end of this particular 2 mantras. If anybody has any questions or queries. We have done mantra 2 and 3 today. Everybody is very serious. Means did it become a big high dose for you all? Self-realization, self-realization, self-realization.
Because last week we have taken rest, Mataji.
What?
Because last week you have taken rest, complete rest. So this week, little less okay.
Oh, okay. Last week you all had taken a rest. But did I bombard too much with self-realization for you all? Okay. Because I think, because we have read Bhagavad Gita and many other scriptures, we know that, this is the only ultimate thing we need to pick up to, or we need to come to this, or drill down to this self-realization concept. And we have no other choice other than doing self-realization for ourselves, right? So any questions anybody has? Why did I raise my hand?
Hare
Sahiba.
Krishna Mataji.
Yeah.
Thank you for the wonderful class. Mataji, my question is actually quite silly, but I wanted to actually ask that when we talk about self-realization, so how do we put it into simpler terms? How do we make it understandable even for the layman, for those who do not understand? Because self-realization term is quite heavy. Like we just saw the entire lecture for the past 2 hours revolved around these two words, self-realization. So how do we put it into simpler terms?
Okay. If I want to put self-realization into a simpler term, is that I am a soul, and my original constitutional position is that I have to serve the Lord. That realization we have to come to. Self-realize. Currently, our realization is that I want to enjoy my own senses. But when I say self-realization, means that what? My original constitutional position is Jivera Swarup Hoy Nitya Krishna Das. If when the day I will understand this, I'm a self-realized person. And for that self-realization, then there is a process that has been given to us by Srila Prabhupada. Chanting 16 rounds, following the 4 relative principles, reading Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. So all these are there for your self-realization. Fine, Saiba.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so
One
much.
line, if I say self-realization means understanding your original constitutional position, that you are the soul and you're meant to serve the Lord.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Any more questions? So Saiba told me that it is a very silly question, but I do not feel questions as silly. These are just questions that need a reframing maybe for a better understanding. Okay. So Saiba, your questions can never, any question in spirituality can never be silly. It is just that you are clearing that whatever you have understood is the right understanding or not. Okay.
Mataji, I had one more question.
Yes, you can ask.
Mataji, we were talking about the 3 ways of understanding the Vedas meaning, right?
Yes.
So the first one was Shabdik, wherein we consider the literal meaning.
Yes.
And the other 2 were Lakshanik and I think Adhyatmik, right?
Yes.
So, so for those 2, you had given 2 particular examples, like one for Surpanaka and the other for Ravan kidnapping Sita Maya.
Yes.
So, Mataji, but like how we spoke of Shabdik as a literal meaning, so how do we, I mean, what is the term for Lakshanik and Adhyatmik then?
So Lakshanik means naitik. Like when I say Lakshanik meaning means what? That Lakshan se aapko pata chalta hai. By the Lakshanas or by the attributes, you will understand that, okay, this person is a lusty person, or this person is a very greedy person, or this person is a very angry person. Lakshan se pata chalta hai. From that particular words, Lakshanas, you'll know that what is the meaning, what that word is trying to tell you in the Shastras. And Adhyatmic meaning means, we do compare and contrasting actually. Adhyatmic meaning where Ravana is compared to the mind, or Sita is compared to the living entity, or Lanka is compared to the material world. So you give analogies. You give analogies, and through analogies, you can very easily understand things when you are giving. Like Prabhupada also gives so many, Adhyatmic meanings. He gives so many analogies. He gives analogy of the bird in the cage, or he gives the analogy of a fish out of water, right? So, yes, Prabhuji, you can leave. Yeah, you can leave.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
So then these are Adhyatmic meanings where you're doing a compare and contrast, and you try to explain that particular point, what you want to explain it through that particular meaning of that particular word,
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Adhyatmic meaning means, you dive deep into that word. The deeper meaning or the deeper insight of that particular word. That is called the Adhyatmic meaning. And through that particular meaning, then you can understand the context very properly or rightly.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you.
Welcome. Any more questions?
Mataji, one more simple question.
Yes, Prabhu.
You said that Yamadutas pull the subtle body, but we heard all these days that they'll take the soul away. Then it will be given Chetana body to undergo punishments and all, something like that.
Yeah, but inside the soul is Man, Buddhi, Ahankar.
Yes, Mataji, that is it.
So that is taken away. The pure soul remains still down only, but because that soul is attached to his own Man, Buddhi, Ahankar, then he is actually following and he's running behind the Man, Buddhi, Ahankar. And because the soul does not know that mera right attachment kisko hona hai, where should I put my right attachment? When the soul puts his right attachment to the lotus feet of the Lord, that's where he will not run behind the Man, Buddhi, Ahankar. That way.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Any more questions?